Alright, we got a 2005 Honda Accord here with an SRS light on. Let's check it out, see what we got. Alright, first thing we'll do, we'll take the key, put it in the ignition. We'll look for our SRS light. There it is right there. It's going to do its 6-second check, and then if there's an issue, that'll stay on. And it looks like it went off right now. So right now, whatever issue was going on, it's not happening. So let's hook a scan tool up and see if we can read any codes. And basically the SRS control module is located under here, and for the first 6 seconds when you put the key in, it's checking every single module and sensor in the whole system. If there's an issue, that's when it turns the light on. And we'll go right to the control unit. No need for us to scan all the codes. Alright, we'll go to our SRS module and let's read the codes. And what is that? A 61-1 permanent DTC. Looks like the standard open in the driver's belt buckle switch. Basically, there's an issue with this switch right here. Very common. And if you didn't know, the last digit, in this case it's a 0. It could be anywhere from 0 to 9, and it could even be a letter like A through F. Those are just manufacturer codes that they use, probably because they have different manufacturers manufacturing these buckles so that they know who did it and when and all that. So you're just concerned with the 61-1. Okay, so what does that mean? What does this code mean? Well, basically there's just a standard little switch right in your buckle there. And when it's in one position, like right now unbuckled, it has contacts in there that go to ground, and it tells the computer it's unbuckled. And then when you buckle it in, that switch moves over, and then it has contacts that go to ground also, and then it shows that the switch is buckled. So basically it's just a switch that when it's thrown one way, it says unbuckled. When it throws the other way, it's buckled. So the computer wants to see a complete circuit to ground, either in the closed or open position, or in this case unbuckled or buckled position. Either way, it wants to see a complete circuit. And what this is telling us is that, well, at least sometimes, because our light is not on right now, at least sometimes there's not a complete circuit, so there's an open. So those contacts are not making a good, contact together, either in the buckled or unbuckled position, one of the two. So let's do some more checks. Well, alright, so the first thing I'll do, we're going to go back and I'm going to erase the codes. We know what this code is now, so we'll go ahead and erase it. Alright, we'll read our codes again. Alright, no fault codes. Alright, now we need to, because this is an intermittent, we need to see if we can recreate the problem. Because it's a simple switch on these, we can actually, pull the seat up and disconnect it, and then we can ohm check the 3 wires and look for continuity, in the buckled and unbuckled position. But we have a scan tool here, so we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use a scan tool instead of getting under there and doing all that. Definitely a little bit easier. Now these older systems, they don't have any explosives in this buckle over here, but you got to remember that newer systems, there's a pre-tensioner that's on the bottom there. Those things have explosives in them that sets a charge that pushes a bunch of steel balls one way and it tightens up the belt. Real new systems have a lap tensioner also that's down here that does the same thing and shoots explosives that tightens up your lap belt. So you got the shoulder belt that'll tighten and the lap belt that'll tighten. So you have to be careful. We don't want to, deploy any explosives in here. But on these older systems, just the belt buckle itself, we could do checks if we wanted to, right at the connector that comes up to this buckle. Not the wiring that goes back to the SRS, but the wiring between there and here. We could do ohms checks if we wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use my scan tool. Alright, so we'll just go inside our SRS module here. We'll go to live data, and we want to find our buckle. See if I can see it. You can see we have quite a few data PIDs we can look at. There's our buckles right there. our left and our right. And you can see they both show unbuckled. So let me grab the passenger one real quick. And we'll just buckle it and unbuckle it like that. And watch our right. Alright, buckled. You can see it says buckle. And then we'll unbuckle it. Unbuckle. Takes a second for it to register and get back over to the scan tool. It's got to go through a couple modules to get the info out here. That's why it takes a second. But you can see this right one appears to be working perfectly. What we're looking for is an open. It'll say open on there. So that's what we want to try to catch it saying open. Then we'll confirm our problem. And that means the problem is in the buckle itself, and a lot of times you get, soda or crap dropped down in there, and that's what does this stuff. Or the contacts just get old, and that happens also. So now we'll take the driver's one. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to buckle it, and now you can see it says buckle. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to buckle it and unbuckle it for a little bit and see if we can catch it saying open. Now it's unbuckled. We caught it on the first one. That's pretty good. Yeah, you can see it's unbuckled and we got it open right there. So our problem is definitely most likely the contacts in there. Let's see if we can get it to work for a little bit. You can see buckled, unbuckled there. See how it's working again? That's generally not going to be a wiring problem because we're not touching the wiring from that connector over to the SRS. So most likely we do not have an open in our wiring, because otherwise it wouldn't be, we wouldn't be able to manipulate it just with the buckle here. We would have to be messing with the wiring. That's not a foolproof test, but that's just using logic, that's a good way to give us a good direction. You can see there it is again. So it's pretty consistent that we have an issue with this buckle. We didn't even need to pull anything apart. I'm confident the problem is in this buckle. So let's see if we can get it fixed with no parts. Oh, and I should mention, now that we have the open in here, you can see our SRS light is back on. As soon as that system recognized that there was an open, it turned our light on. So I'm sure if we back out and read our codes again, we're going to have that 61-1 again. Yeah, there you go. So we confirmed our problem. Our problem is definitely about 99.9% sure it's in this buckle here. So let's see what we can do about it. SRS components can deploy with enough force to hurt or seriously hurt or kill you, especially if you're in the wrong position. Even though they're designed to save your life in an accident, if you're leaning over in the wrong position and these things deploy, they can kill you. Normally, on most systems, you do not ohm check any part of the airbag system because those airbags can deploy when you're running current through them like that. This is one of the rare instances where you can do it, but you have to know the system. And that's why I recommend don't work on an SRS system unless you've been trained. I've been trained on how to work on these, so I don't have a problem doing it. If you have not been trained, I do not recommend you work on them. This is just for entertainment only. Alright, we're going to see if we can't clean up those contacts in that switch. We're just going to take some zero residue contact cleaner, spray it down in there, see if we can't clean it up. And as you see, I have the key off, everything's shut down. I'm just going to spray this in here. And we'll take the buckle, work it back and forth a few times. Alright, I'll let that stuff thoroughly dry out, and then we'll recheck it. And while I'm waiting, I'll do the other side too. We'll just clean those contacts while we're here. Alright, I let it thoroughly dry. Let's take the key, turn it on. Let's watch our SRS light, see what it does. Went off, and then if there was an issue, it'd come right back on. So at least the fault is not happening right currently at this second. So let's look at some data. Alright, we still have our code in here from before. So what we're going to do, we'll erase that. And we'll read our codes again. And you can see no fault codes detected. Alright, so now we're going to do the same test we did before. Let's go back into our live data. Look for our buckles, and you can see they both show unbuckled like they should. And we'll take our seat belt and we'll see if we can't get it to fail again. Now you remember before we got it to fail pretty quickly and go to an open. So let's see what happens this time. You can see it's consistently working again now. Try it a few more times. Alright, as you saw, I can't get it to fail now. Pretty sure we solved this problem. And as you can see, our SRS light's still off. So it looks like it was just dirty contacts in there. Somebody probably spilled a big old gigantic soda from Circle K in there and messes up those contacts. So as you saw on this SRS problem, contact cleaner inside the belt buckle fixed it. If it comes back, I'll let the customer know that we were able to fix it, at least for now. But if this code comes back, then that buckle is going to have to be replaced. Now, many times on these older models, the seatbelt systems are covered under a lifetime warranty. Now, I know Honda has tried to limit that, especially on newer models, but this old one should be covered under a lifetime warranty. And because the switch is inside that buckle, if the switch fails, well then Honda will generally replace that buckle for free under warranty. Now sometimes they try to scare you off by saying, oh, we have to do a diagnostic first, and if it isn't the problem you're going to have to pay the fee, and they go back and forth like that. But generally, if the buckle is the problem because of, you know, that switch, then they replace it for free, no charge. But I have heard of some dealers trying to give you the runaround and say, well, it's an SRS problem, it's not a seatbelt problem, and so it can go back and forth. In that case, you got to contact Honda and things like that. But in any event, that's how this vehicle was fixed today. Well, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this little SRS troubleshooting video. And as always, if the video helped you out or you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.